Nothing was taken from you overnight. They just slowly made ownership unaffordable until you gave it up. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when I upload. You'll definitely want to stay to the end of this one. With that out of the way, let's dive in. Let's talk about ownership. Not the I own a house kind, because let's be honest, that fantasy is dying as we speak. I'm talking about the kind where you buy something and it's yours. You pay money, you get the thing, end of transaction. Simple, ancient, practically barbaric by modern day tech standards. Because in 2026, ownership is apparently a radical ideology. You don't own games, you don't own software, you barely own your hardware. The only thing you truly own is the privilege of continuing to pay for things you already bought. Welcome to modern gaming and tech, where everything is a license, nothing is permanent, and corporations can revoke your fun like an abusive god hitting the smite button. Remember when buying meant owning? Once upon a time, ancient history, I know, you bought a game on a disc or a cartridge, put it in, it worked. No logins, no updates, no accounts, no servers. If the internet died tomorrow, your games would still work. It's a wild concept. Now, you buy a game and immediately get hit with a launcher, an account, a EULA longer than the Bible, a 90 gigabyte day one patch, and a reminder that you don't actually own anything, you peasant. You didn't buy a game. You bought a temporary permission to access a product, valid until the publisher decides you're no longer profitable. You don't own the game, you own a license. This sentence is the corporate equivalent of saying, actually, your paycheck is more of a suggestion. Publishers love this line. It's how they justify removing your games you paid for, delisting titles permanently, shutting down servers, killing single-player content because online features are required. They'll look you straight in the eye and say, well, technically, you never owned it. Cool. Then technically, I never paid you. I temporarily leased the money. Live services, the parasite model.
Shall we play a game?
Live service games are the apex predator of anti-ownership. You don't buy them, you rent them. And when they die, everything dies with them. Entire games, gone. Stories, erased. Characters, deleted. Content you paid for, vaporized. And then they act shocked when people pirate. Oh no, why would players do this? Because you train them to understand that legal purchases are temporary, and piracy is the only thing that actually preserves games. Game preservation isn't a crime problem, it's a publisher problem. Single-player games that require servers. This actually deserves jail time. If your single-player experience stops working because a server went down or offline in another country, you didn't make a game, you made spyware with side quests. There is no universe where a campaign played alone on my hardware should require your permission servers to exist. That's not DRM, that's control. Digital libraries are a lie. Your games are not safe in your digital library. They're only safe until a license expires, a company gets acquired, a server shuts down, a storefront closes, or they just decide, nah, entire libraries vanish overnight. Games people paid full price for. No refunds, no warnings, no apologies, just silence and a shrug. Cartridges didn't do this. Discs didn't self-destruct because shareholders needed better numbers. PC hardware is dying. AI is pulling the plug and it's circling the drain. If you thought your PC hardware was still safe, congratulations, you blinked. AI just didn't raise component prices. It nuked affordability from orbit and called it innovation. GPUs aren't priced for gamers anymore. They're priced for data centers, hedge funds, and whatever startup duct taped the words AI powered onto a pitch deck last week. A graphics card used to cost a few $100s. Now it costs as much as a used car. And not a nice one. Why is the check engine light blinking type of used car? And no, this isn't a supply issue. It's a priority issue. You are no longer the customer. Your GPU isn't for you. That GPU on the shelf, it's not meant to go in your PC. It's meant to sit in a warehouse bolted to a rack, hallucinating emails and summarizing PDFs for corporations that don't know what they're doing. And same goes for your computer memory and storage and your CPU will be next. Gamers aren't getting priced out accidentally, they got outbid. And instead of fixing that, the industry pivoted to, well, maybe consumers shouldn't own hardware anymore. Enter cloud gaming, the exit scam. This is where cloud gaming shows up, grinning like it's doing you a favor. Why buy expensive hardware, they say, when you can just stream everything? Translation, why own power when you can rent permission? No local processing, no mods, no offline play, no control, just a subscription, some latency, and the knowledge that if your internet hiccups, your entire hobby goes with it. You don't upgrade anymore, you subscribe. You don't build, you access. You don't own performance, you lease it. Anyone remember Stadia, Google's cloud gaming service? Google shot their wad too early, a common problem with middle-aged corporations. But you mark my words, it will make a return, rebranded as something else, because they'll have to compete with all the other streaming services. From cloud gaming to data centers, the point of no return. This is where everything converges. I am going to address the AI bubble before I get into this section of the video. Is there an AI bubble? Yes, there is. There's no denying that. But will it pop? No. It may deflate a little, but it won't pop. Too many companies and governments have invested too much money. They won't allow it to pop. But I will say, LLMs, or today's version of AI, is running out of steam. You can only throw so much money in compute to actually make meaningful gains for the money you've invested. So with AI data centers growing exponentially, companies have all this extra computing power lying there dormant. That's when companies will start renting us their computing power. Now back to the rest of the video. Cloud gaming wasn't the end game, it was the transition phase. Because once you accept that your games don't need to run on your hardware, there's no reason for you to own hardware at all. That GPU you can't afford, it didn't disappear, it moved into a data center. A warehouse the size of a football stadium filled wall to wall with GPUs and computer memory that used to belong to gamers. Your PC didn't get too expensive by accident. You got outbid. Your games now run in buildings you'll never see, in cities you'll never visit, under rules you'll never control. Now we have the birth of AI gaming, when the game doesn't exist. Now this is still in its infancy, but you can see where this is headed. This is the next step, and it's worse than you don't own the game. With AI-generated gaming, there is no game. There's no executable, no install, no source code, just an AI predicting the next frame in real time, based on prompts, player input, and whatever data it was trained on. Nothing is built, nothing is shipped, nothing is stored, so if servers shut down, nothing is lost, because nothing was ever there. You can't preserve it, you can't mod it, you can't archive it, you can't even prove it existed. It's not a product, it's a temporary hallucination, running on rented compute. And corporations love this. From their perspective, this is perfect. No downloads, no piracy, no emulation, no resale, and no modding. They don't shut down games anymore, they just stop generating them. Your library becomes a list of experiences you once had, not things you keep. And even if you were able to buy any hardware, it isn't safe either. Modern hardware now ships with locked bootloaders, forced firmware updates, online activation, region locks, and security features that only protect corporations. Buy a device, turn it on, immediately told what you're not allowed to do with it. Nintendo has been doing this for years. But try repairing your hardware? Void warranty. Try modifying it? Violation. Some hardware, if you use it offline, you'll be slapped with suspicious activity detected. You didn't buy hardware, you bought a terminal. The subscription apocalypse. Subscriptions are the end game. Why sell you something once when they can charge you forever? Games? Subscription. Software? Subscription. Cloud saves? Subscription. Features that used to be free? Subscription. Stop paying, and you'll lose access, your files locked, your projects disappear, your ownership evaporates. This isn't convenience, this is digital sharecropping. So why does this all matter? Because once ownership is gone, you have no leverage. You can't keep what you paid for, fix anything that breaks, preserve what matters, or opt out without losing everything. You're not a customer anymore. You're a recurring revenue stream with thumbs. The final irony, companies love to whine about piracy, modding, and emulation. Meanwhile, those are the only things actually preserving games. The illegal copies will outlive the legal ones, because a PC you own, a game you keep, and hardware you control cannot be revoked, rate limited, or shut off when the subscription expires. The death of ownership in gaming and tech wasn't caused by technology. It was caused by greed. And the wildest part is they expect gratitude. So the next time a company tells you you don't own it, you're just licensing access, believe them. And remember exactly who made it that way. Now that we've come to the end of the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. This is the Axeman, and if ownership makes me old-fashioned, good. I'll die with my games still working on my own hardware.